Hi folks, this companion video is on the topic of sustainability. This is an area of vital importance, not just in economics, but in everyday life. And I reckon it's a favourite to appear on exam papers. So stick around to find out all you need to know about sustainability for OCR and AQA GCSE economic courses. And feel free to ask any questions you have in the comments below. There's lots coming up in the news about this topic at the moment, ranging from pumping of sewage into rivers and seas, rising gas prices fueling the increased cost of living, falling real terms wages and the actions that workers are taking against firms to try and remedy that. So be sure to check out my weekly news summaries that link what's happening in the real world to what you're learning in your lessons. As economists, we study the choices that people and businesses make in terms of what's produced and consumed. We wish to know whether scarce resources are being used in the best way possible to meet the needs and wants of consumers. To do this, we need to know the benefits that come about because of those choices and also the costs that are incurred. Some of these benefits and costs will have been considered by consumers and producers when making their choices, but not always. And the reasons why this may happen and the consequences of this are covered in a later topic on the limitations of markets. We can look at costs and benefits in three general areas, and we don't just consider the immediate impacts of choices, but also the effects that consumption and production will have into the future. Those three areas are economic, social, and environmental. And we bring the future element into this by looking at how sustainable the decisions are, the impact that they will have further ahead in time, how we can cater for the needs of the current generation without compromising the needs of future generations. Economic sustainability is when economic choice allows a producer or economy to be profitable and to keep growing over time. It considers the cost of production relative to how much the consumer pays, and also wider impacts such as the jobs that are created as a result of production, the effects on government taxation or spending, the cost of living, and even productivity and the conditions that employees work in. Some of these elements, such as the cost of living and impacts on workers, may also link to social sustainability. This is the impact of choices on the quality of life and well-being of a community. This isn't just how much money we have, but what our standard of living is like, our education, health, freedoms, equalities, and general happiness levels. Again, we have to consider the impact that choices have not just at the present time, but the effect that they will have in coming years and on future generations. Environmental sustainability has become increasingly important in the last few decades. This is because we're becoming more aware of the damage that some of our decisions have had and are having on the planet around us. Environmental sustainability focuses on the impact of our choices on the natural world. This can be in terms of the pollution that our production and consumption creates, the effects on habitats, and the using up of resources that are difficult or impossible to replenish. Most resources are not unlimited and will be used up. They are scarce. Some resources that we can call renewable resources are those that can be replaced over time. Free goods are abundant with zero or minimal opportunity cost, such as solar or wind power, while other resources are renewable as long as they are used responsibly and not in too large quantities. For example, trees if replacements are planted and allowed long enough to grow, or fish if they're allowed to breed and replace fish that may have been trawled and eaten. However, some resources are non-renewable. They've taken thousands or millions of years to form, and once they're gone, they're gone. That creates a dilemma. We want to use these resources, but will sooner or later use them up. For example, it's estimated that at current consumption rates, we only have enough oil left for another 45 years of use. It's good to question whether we're using resources too fast to be environmentally sustainable, and what the impacts of the depletion of resources may have on our economic and social well-being in the future. There are lots of different points of view on sustainability, and it's useful to try to consider the different opinions and situations of economic participants, and whether economic decisions that result in benefits in one area might create costs in another. Although we may not always be able to make the best decision, or even know what that is, spending a little time considering sustainability can assist consumers, producers, and governments in making better decisions than they otherwise might.